Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar of Unleashing Business Process Automation with Zoho. So before we go to the webinar, let's discuss the agenda of the webinar. In this webinar, we'll discuss what is Business Process Automation or BPA and its benefits. We'll discuss the key areas of BPA. We'll learn how to automate web to lead with webhooks. We'll learn how to automate email marketing with Mailchimp and Zoho. We'll also learn how to automate lead nurturing using Blueprint and workflow. And finally, we'll see some automation in Zoho Reports. Myself, Soumitra Chakravarti, a technical consultant of APPSeCONNECT. And with me, I have Mr. Narottam Das, the Vice President of Process Strategy, APPSeCONNECT. So, hi, Narottam.
Hello.
Yeah. So, I pass the presentation to Narottam so that he can discuss the process of business process automation. Thank you. So Narottam, you can take over.
Thank you, Soumitra, for the introduction. So, guys, so today we are here to know, or rather to discuss about business process automation, or in short, it is BPA. So, what is it actually? We have some idea about business process automation or automation. It is nothing but in terms of computer technology, it is if then else kind of thing, right? So at the back end, a few robots are working for you day and night. So in business process automation or BPA, it is actually the process which is getting automatically streamlined for various processes, business processes like marketing, sales, operations, finance, etc. So simply these particular business processes, when these primarily these are very complex in nature, we try to automate them, right? And this business process automation is also known as digital transformation, and it is generally technology enabled, and as I said, for complex business process. So today we will look into such a few kind of automation around business processes which can be done with Zoho. So next is that the advantages of BPA. To list down a few advantages or benefits of BPA, we can say that obviously BPA saves time and it simplifies the process. When it is really complex, you cannot cope up with all the complexities, all the repetitive works all the time manually, so you automate them. So obviously it saves time for its end users. Then it increases operational efficiency by minimizing the human errors. Obviously, since human interactions are very less, so chances of human errors are really less. Then it reduces cost. Obviously, time is money. So if time is saved, so it will reduce the cost and increase the better allocation of workforce. Obviously, if people are not engaged with the monotonous, repetitive, mundane work in day-to-day life, so obviously they will be allocated to the better works, to more intelligent works. Then it can help you to maintain the quality and consistency. So very important thing is that consistency by using computer and the automations is very important and very easy to do, which is really difficult by workforce or human being. Then better accountability and governance. Obviously the computer automations will be very easy to govern. You can automate things technically, you can program it, and it will be really more accountable towards the assigned work, the assigned automation. Then finally we can say that the proper metrics and collaboration help from better business for better business strategies and goals. So here we will look into some areas where we can collaborate easily. We can automate something around the analytics, and for the better strategies and goals. Today we will have several demonstration around these things. So next, I would like to request Shoumitro. I hand it over to Shoumitro to explain the key areas of business process automations.
Thanks, Anuttam. So, discussing the key areas of business process automation. So, using process automation, what can you automate? We can automate the sales process. We can automate the marketing process. We can also automate the operations and support process. So, an example of sales process automation is lead assignment using based on type. So you can assign the leads to the people based on the type of leads. Suppose a lead came from form, or suppose a lead came from a chat. So you can assign the leads to the proper salespersons as per the leads type, and this can be done automatically. And examples of marketing process automation is drip campaigns, like where a series of emails are being shot to the people after a specific period of time. So this is called the drip campaign, which can be done in marketing. So in operations and support, we can automatically create tasks from different type of support tickets. Now, in this webinar, we'll focus on some of the other key areas of business process automation, like automated web to CRM lead entry, automated lead nurturing, automated lead assignment, automated messages and tasks based on various events occurring in the CRM, automated lead validation, automated email to mobile marketing, automated lead scoring, and report generation and alerts. Now, the first demo will be of automating web and chat to lead in Zoho CRM. Imagine you have a web form where you collect leads, and also you collect leads from various other sources like chats, etc. So when a person submits a form, or you end a chat, then a webhook fires. In every application, there is a webhook which fires after each and every event. The webhook which fires, it gets the data of the form as well as chat, and you can use the webhook to post the data in Zoho API during the post protocol. And finally, you can see the results in the log data. So after a lead is submitted to the form using the webhook, it is shown in the Zoho CRM this way. So I will just show you the complete steps of doing this. So suppose this is a form. This is a web form where user generally fills up the company name, the job title, the email, the phone numbers, etc. So this form is a third-party form, which is a Wufoo form we are using. So this form has a webhook. Webhook means once you submit the form, you get all the details, or the action happens. So you can create the webhook in this third-party form using this notification settings. So you select webhook, click on add integration. Now in the webhook URL, you just put the URL of the script where this form will be submitted, like www.yourdomain.com/your script. Suppose I have a PHP script to handle that, so you can specify the full URL. And you can also mention here the webhook handshake key. So this key will be your code which checks if the form has been filled up by some authorized people or not by the bots on the Google. So you can verify using this handshake key. So once this form is submitted, we'll use the Zoho API next to post the data to the Zoho CRM. Suppose you have a chat. Now chat has also a different type of webhook. Like for example, the chat which nowadays people use, for example, we'll give an example of a chat like the talk to. In the talk to, we have a code like this. So this code acts as a web hook to post data. So here you can clearly see it uses the jQuery post to a domain with my data. My data contains all the data which is there in the chat, like the name, company name, and email address which is there in the chat. So that data gets posted in the same URL, the script URL which you mentioned in the form. Now you are getting the data. Now how to post that data in Zoho CRM? So obviously we'll use the API. So this example, I will walk you through the code, complete code of how means here we are showing the API. At first, this is the script page which you are posting the data. The webhook posted the data in this script. We're using the Zoho API key. This is very important. You will get the API key anywhere in your Zoho admin area. We are creating an array of data. Then from the webhook, we are collecting the name, company, email, etc. We'll get that from the webhook itself. There are other details which needs to be filled up and which are mandatory to be kept in the API so that the data, these are the required fields which you need to be posted, like the owner of the lead, the last name. If we don't have a last name, we have a dash, the source of the lead, the industry, the status, the country. We have kept the country as unknown since we don't get country in chats sometimes. So here is another script to divide the name into two parts, the first name and last name into two parts. After that, the Zoho API data is posted using an XML data format where we have the source, owner, name, last name. The same data is posted and kept in an XML data format, which is posted using the API called crm.zoho.com/lead/insert records. This API, I have used an example in PHP curl. You can use that. This is any programming language. Maybe it's ASP.NET or Ruby on Rails or Python. You can use any language to post the data to the API. So I have used a simple curl function to post the data and finally collected my response in a file called chatresponse.log. So this is the log file where you get the success or error message. So these scripts pushes the data into Zoho CRM automatically within a flash. Now, if you're not interested in coding or if you don't like to code things, so you can use our platform called APPSeCONNECT. So APPSeCONNECT provides a smart approach to integration and integrates two applications. It integrates any two applications. So you can use APPSeCONNECT, which has a very good user interface so that you don't have to code and you can sync data between two platforms easily. Now moving on. So this is how the leads which are produced, which are gathered from different portals gets posted in the CRM. So now I'm handling to Narottam, who will discuss about the workflow and blueprint of how do we can nurture leads using Zoho.
Thank you, Soumitra. Thank you, Shoumitro, for the nice demonstration. Next, I'm moving towards more demonstration of various automation around workflow and blueprint. So in Zoho, workflow automates the process of sending email notifications and automatically creation of various tasks. You can update certain fields of various records, and it will be done on the basis of certain conditions. If certain conditions are met, then these rules will be triggered automatically, and the task you define, you configure, will be run automatically at the back end. So that is the workflow. Now there is another advanced automation which is called Blueprint. You can use Blueprint to automate the entire life cycle, the entire workflow of any process, say for example lead nurturing or potential handling. So the difference between the workflow and the blueprint is that blueprint is more or less step-by-step approach, means at every step from start to end, what will happen at what time, when, by whom, to whom, everything will be defined in blueprint step by step, whereas workflow works on the basis of certain parameters. If it meet, if it met, then the certain rules will be triggered. However, both the approaches are used in our automations. It doesn't mean that blueprint being the advanced version of automation, it replaces workflow. No, it does not replace workflow. Rather, both of these options will be used in several scenarios of our business process automation. We will look into those things now in detail in one or two demonstration. One or two examples are there how to do it with workflow and blueprint automation. Here we can see that one test workflow is there, which is around leads. Now, better let me go to the real screen. So here we can try to create a new workflow rules. So whenever you click on new rule, just give a name, and you need to select the module for which module you are trying to create that particular rule, and that workflow will be working around that particular module. So if it is lead, all the leads fields will be available. If it is accounts related fields will be available. Accounts related features will be available in this workflow. If it is contact, obviously the contacts related fields and features will be available at the time of designing this workflow. So let's select lead. You can add optionally some description to it. Now hit on next. So it depends on the plan you are using, that how many options you will get at the time of designing the workflow. So here we are getting two options. One is on a record action or based on the scores. So you may have lead scores which will increase sometime or decrease or update at the time of increase or decrease or update. It will be fired, or based on a particular record action, like if a record is created, means here we are in lead module. So if a lead is created, or if a lead is created or edit, or only edit or delete, whatever suits your requirement, you can select that option and hit on next. Let's select create. On creation of particular lead, what will happen? So on creation of a particular lead, the lead matching criteria can be like on a particular field. That particular field will be validated against some value here, say for example country, contents. Okay, so this kind of option you can give here, or it can be for all leads. Then next is action. If that particular action is required on that particular condition you have just now configured. So but for this particular example, it will run for all the lead creation. Whenever a lead is created, a particular email notification may be sent, a task may be created, a field may be updated, or you can add a particular tag to filter your data. So obviously if you want to tag, some condition will be good at that point of time, or you can run a webhook for some advanced automation, right? Now there may be some other option like schedule. You can schedule a particular action on a particular time once a particular record is created or updated, but that will require enterprise edition. So here you can see I'm getting this option to upgrade the plan. I'm showing from different plan, so but we can upgrade it to enterprise edition to have this scheduling option, right? So I have already one example ready, like sales handover. Say for example, if there is any lead closes, means it is converted, means whenever it is created or edited, it checks the condition whether the stage is closed on or the type is, and the type is new business. So the lead will be updated, first condition. Second means when it will be fired, the lead is created or edited. Here you can see created or edited, right? And then it will check whether the stage is closed on and type is new business. What it will do, so it will detect that some potential is created now, the deal is closed now. Now this is for potential, the potential is created or edited and it is on. So that will create a few actions. So first action is that email notification. So that email notification will be triggered and it will send to the destination. A few email IDs can be configured that who will be receiving these particular emails and what template it will use to send that particular email. So here you can see that additional recipients can also be there, means the potential owner and the potential owner's manager will receive this uh, particular alert, and it will send some additional recipients as well. And next is that email template. So what template we are using, that is sales handover template. But email template is basically the email templates are available here in template. If you go to settings and then customization, then template, there are various templates. So here you can define that particular template. You can use these placeholders, which are nothing but the fields which will bring the data from that particular field when it will be executed, and it will fill up the particular data at the time of execution. So this way, here we have used sales handover template. You can edit it, you can create a new template. So what is it saying? It is saying some message, useful information about that particular event which has happened. So our potential is on. Now someone has to take some action, or for someone's information, this email will be fired. And at the same time, it will create a few tasks what to do once a potential is closed. What to do? So there are 5 tasks. You can see in this example, these tasks will be created. What to do? So in sales handover, when a new business is there with you, the project will be started. What to do? Share the customer and partner contact details with the implementation. Obviously, it will go to the implementation team, the project management team. They will have this particular task in their bucket, that they will get the details from the sales team about the customer and partner contacts, right? And when it will be due, it will be due when the workflow is triggered plus 1 day. So just after 1 day, this will be due, and the status will be, initial status will be not started, priority is really high, and assigned to whom you assign to. Here there is a small note: if you do not assign the task to any user, it will be automatically assigned to the record owner. So the person who was working for this particular lead will be assigned automatically, and you can notify the assignee and remind the assignee, and then there will be pop-up. Everything which is there in any task of Zoho CRM, that can be configured here. So this way you can configure all of these tasks one by one once, and then save it. So what will happen is that now it will automate all these things, all these operations, and it will continually monitor your business when something is happening, and it will trigger that particular set of actions very accurately, right? So this is one thing which is very important regarding workflow, and you can configure as many as possible workflows you need, and you can stop one particular workflow whenever it is not required. You can have a pause to that. You can create your new workflow, all of this, right? Now, I think we can move to the next thing, that is the blueprint. A bit more advanced, looks bit complex, but it is very useful. So if we talk about blueprint, how it works, basically, it is basically nothing but like that workflow works, but it is bit more connected, more extensive. It has got many conditions as per the stages involved into it. So you can design, you can visually make a diagram what will happen at what stages of that particular workflow. So it will obviously have one start node. So it is starting. At the time of starting, what it will do, you can configure. And at the various stages, what it will do, when it will do, you can configure everything. So let's go into a practical example of blueprint. So you can create a blueprint like workflow we did. So here you can give a name, and again you have to select the module like you had selected for business workflow, and then select the layout. If you have multiple layouts for that particular module, then you can select your desired layout to get the details and get the fields, available fields. And this is the particular important thing here to point regarding business blueprint. So whenever you are creating a blueprint in Zoho CRM, you have to indicate that the stages will be based on which field. So the stages are very important here. You need to select that particular field very wisely, which has got certain stages. So like here, for obvious reason, the rating will not have that stages concept, but lead status obviously is associated with stages. Lead status will be at some point of time. Initially it will be new, unknown, then contacted, right? Qualified. So that kind of stages will be there with this particular field. So choosing the right field is very important in business blueprint in the selected module, right? But obviously you can do it at your end as per your requirement, like plan, say for example what kind of business plan it has chosen. But obviously plan will not have that stage concept. A plan will be more or less fixed, or maybe one or two changes may be there in plan. Initially the lead is thinking about basic plan, later on it has gone to a particular standard plan or a professional plan or enterprise plan, but that will be not like stages. But lead status will be obviously kind of stages of your business flow, right? Now once you said this, you can have some definition that when this business blueprint will be executed on the basis of certain criteria of the records. It may not be applicable for all the records you will be handling in your CRM. It will be applicable for certain records only. So at that point of time, again, you can, check that particular field value when it will be fired. So for example, that may be related to some country, right? If this particular country is there in that particular record, then only the business blueprint will be fired. Or otherwise you can, say it will be executed, it will be triggered for all the records. Next. The next step is to design that business blueprint. Now what to do? Basically, now you need to find out the stages, the right stages of your business flow here for this lead nurturing process. Obviously, the lead will have definition is at your end. It is up to you that what will be the first step and what will be the next step. So for here, for our demonstration, the new stage, the new status of any lead is the first step. So as soon as I drop it here, it creates the start node automatically, and a node will be associated with certain other options like this. So with start node, it does not mean that much, but if I go to other nodes, you can see that how much important is it to configure that particular node status, right? I'll show you it later on. So here you can drop some other fields and you can join this field right this way, and you can configure the transactions in between these steps. So from start to new, what will be the new transaction, right? So as soon as you create a transaction in between these stage, uh, then you will find all these options in front of you, like what will happen before this happens. Basically, whenever it is in transition from start to new, what will be the actions? So before, what will happen? So for which users? So you can select the users or role or group. So by default, let it be as record owner. It will be applicable for the record owner only. Whenever a record owner is handling this particular stage, it will be applicable for that record owner. Now you can set some criteria, what kind of actions you want to do. The actions criteria can be like for account is like this XYZ and all, right? So this way you can configure before action, and then during the transition what will happen. Basically you can make the notes mandatory. Note is a default field for all kinds of records here. And attachment, you can make the attachment mandatory. You can add some other, you can give some message, you can associate associated items, you can define, you can have a checklist, right? All these things during the transition. Operator has to handle these things. So it will be a little bit interactive, where you had seen in whereas in the workflow you have seen it is not very interactive, rather it is a process runs in the background. Behind the scene it automates something, but here it will automate as well as it will interact with the operator, the person who is handling that particular record. It will be interacting with that particular person, especially in the during actions. What will be the actions after this transition? So you can send one email notification, you can create tasks, you can update certain fields, you can run some webhooks, you can add the tags, etc. Right? And next important thing is that this is for the transition. So at the time of transitions, what will happen at this particular stage? I have shown you. Now, in a particular state, how many days you can wait? So you can restrict your people, for a certain amount of uh, restrictions you can impose on your people by saying that, see, in new state, a particular lead should not be more than 3 days. So what will happen if someone violates this particular rule? It will automatically escalate this particular event, this particular violation of rule to the next owners, the next escalation level. It will be escalated and it will send the alerts as well. So this is very nice thing to enforce the rules and regulation in your business processes, right? So we have this particular example in front of you today for this demonstration. We have lead nurturing complete business blueprint in front of you. So here we are starting from the start node. There is no as such restrictions or any configurations to this. Next is that unknown transition. So at the beginning it is unknown what will happen, before nothing, and during also there is nothing, but after there may be certain task, but we haven't configured here, but later on we can change it as per our requirement. Now next is that assigned. Once this is in unknown stage, it can be valid or it can be contacted. If it is valid, then it can be assigned to someone to do certain other actions. In assigned state, for this example, we have defined that not more than 10 days a particular lead can be in assigned state, right? If it is more than 10 days, it will be escalated and all these people will be notified that a particular lead is in assigned state for more than 10 days. Obviously something is wrong, right? Now one or two examples like of a lead this way. In this particular loop, if a lead gets lost, then what will happen? Obviously, it will make the notes mandatory why this lead was lost. And if the lost reason is mandatory, the lost reason, if it is not mandatory, then it will show some alert to the user that please enter some valid reason for this loss, right? So this kind of during actions can also be there, which are interactive with the users. Right. So this much I think is good enough for this demonstration today for business blueprint. If you have any questions, we can take it up later on. Now, next, I would like to request Soumitra to take it forward for automating email marketing with Mailchimp and Zoho integration. I hand it over to Soumitra.
Thanks, Narottam. So it was an awesome demonstration. Uh, so let's move on some email marketing automation with Mailchimp. So in email marketing, we generally send out a series of emails to a particular lead or particular contact based on some actions. So now what is the flow? So as you've seen in the workflow, that a lead, you can assign an email or you can assign a webhook as per the lead status. So if the lead status is lost, we can assign a Zoho webhook so that it sends the lead's information to the webhook, and the webhook sends the details of that lead to the Mailchimp list using the post API. And finally, we start the automation campaign. So let's see how does this happen. So once you change the lead status to something called lost lead, it fires a webhook. The same way we have used the webhook in the forms and chats before, we have a webhook for Zoho CRM as well. So this is the overall structure of the webhook. As you can see here, you can see this is a name, a different name, a set time zone webhook that is created for demo. We have the URL where the data will be posted. We have the method. We'll always use the post method to post details. The get method is used to get the details. So here you will use only the post method. So below you can see the URL parameters. In parameters, you can pass what data you are sending to the webhook or the script. So here you can see you are sending the accounts ID as well as the billing city. As per in requirement, you can use any module definition here. Like you can send lead name, lead email, lead phone number, etc. in the webhook, and the same script will work for that. Now, before sending this to the webhook, you need to create one campaign in Mailchimp. So creating a campaign in Mailchimp is very easy. So you just go to the Mailchimp and click on create automated campaign. This is a custom event workflow campaign which is created in Mailchimp. Here we have a series of emails which nurtures a lead, a lost lead, I would say. So once a lead is lost, you can send a series of email based on the user interaction of the email. Like an user immediately receives an email when a lead status is changed. The email one is received on the first day. The second email is received 2 days after a subscriber opens the previous mail. So you're not going to disturb any person who where the email falls in junk or clutter folder. So we are sending only to those person who cares about reading the mails. So email 2 is sent 2 days after the subscribers open the previous mail. So similarly, email 3 is sent 5 days after subscribers opens the previous mail, that is email 2. Similarly, we can create a series of mails where we try to nurture the lead in different ways. Now, you have created the campaign. Now, how to add those lost lead to this campaign? Same, using the Zoho webhook as I've shown and using the Mailchimp post API. So I've shown you the webhook. Now, how does the post API works? The post API works similarly to the API which I have discussed in the Zoho. We collect the email address and the name or the fields which you have mentioned in the webhook, and we send the data to two APIs. The first one is Sync Mailchimp API, which adds the lead to a particular list. So this campaign has to be associated with a list in the Mailchimp. So you need to create a list first, then create a campaign for that list. So here our list name is invalid lead nurturing list. So using the first API, you send the data to the list, and using the second API called add Mailchimp, you associate that lead with this workflow campaign. So there are two methods, two steps. The first is sending the lead to the particular list so that it gets enlisted in your Mailchimp. And the second one is to post the lead in the workflow campaign. So similarly, here is a curl function using the API, and we post the lead in two ways. This is the first function, the second function, and similarly we collect the log data in two files. Now, once the lead is posted in the marketing lead nurturing campaign, the lead nurturing happens automatically, and the lost lead will start getting emails from you, and the lead may become a hot lead day after tomorrow. So this is the way we can automate lead nurturing using APIs. Again, if you are not comfortable with coding, or if you do not like to use coding, you can use app tools like APPSeCONNECT to sync data between Mailchimp and Zoho. So moving on next, we have email automation. We have the Zoho Reports automation, which will be presented by Narottam. So I just make Narottam the presenter, and he'll be happy to help you.
Thank you, Soumitra. It was nice demonstration. So far, quickly to go through the report automation, rather we can say integration between CRM and Zoho Reports, and then how we can automate a few things which are regularly used in your business. So for report integration in Zoho CRM, one particular option is there, that is advanced CRM analytics. If you go to report module in CRM, you will get it. So it gets connected with Zoho Reports. For unlimited reports, you can do it. There are few reports, there are few analytics already there in CRM, but for unlimited reports, you can create various nice analytics, advanced analytics, a few automations regarding report. You can connect Zoho report with CRM nicely from the particular option I have said, that is advanced CRM analytics, right? And what it does basically, it will create, as soon as you connect the CRM with the reports, it will create the CRM database, or rather it will replicate the CRM database at the report module, and you will be able to see various by default reports and analytics are created automatically, and you on top of that you can configure that, and you can create your new reports and analytics in reports itself. And you can schedule the reports obviously for automation. There are various end users those who are not comfortable with any application logging into the application regularly, mainly say for example the directors, company directors, CEO, they will be more comfortable with the emails only. So viewing the reports in the email itself is really nice feature. So time to time you may have to send them to the end user. So how to do it, let's see now. So in reports and automation part, I will mainly focus how to send the reports automatically on a certain interval, how to automate the reports to the mailbox primarily. But before that, I would like to show a few practical things how you can do it in your CRM itself. So here, whenever you are in CRM, you can go to the reports module. So here, this is the report module. Whenever you are there in the report module, if your advanced analytics are not configured, then you will get the option to configure your advanced analytics here on top right corner. Since I have already configured the advanced CRM analytics, so it is now showing some option to go to that particular reporting module directly just by clicking here. So how to do it? In settings, if you want to configure for other users, then in settings you will find this marketplace and go to Zoho marketplace, and there you will find this particular app, this integration option, advanced CRM analytics. Click on manage because it is already there. I have connected. If it is not connected already, then you will get continue kind of option. So in manage option, if I go and you can see the settings which will be there initially as well. So initially this settings screen will be in front of you where you can select the modules you would like to integrate between CRM and the reports module. On the modules you want to do those unlimited reporting. So here for this demonstration we have selected contacts, accounts, potential, leads, and in each and every module the fields will also be exposed here. You can select specifically which field you want to integrate. Once this particular module and their fields options are selected, you can select the sync option, whether it will be a manual sync or a daily option. Since we are talking about automation, so obviously it will be automatically synchronized. At what time? You can select your time as per your requirement. So we have selected around 11 a.m. It will be synchronized between Zoho CRM and reports, right? So we have this Zoho CRM reports database already at our reporting module. Here, the same settings I can get by selecting this option data source. The same settings which you were seeing in the CRM a few seconds back. So here, the same settings looks like this. So here you can edit the setup again in CRM, in reports, like you did in CRM. In reports also you get the same settings. So in either way you can do these settings, not at the both end. You need not to set it up. If you set it up here in reports, the CRM part will be automatically updated. Rather, it is the replica, it is the image or the uh, mirror of that particular setup. So here you can see that we selected leads, accounts, contacts, potential, and their various fields. So this way you can configure the reports synchronization between CRM and Zoho reports. And once these synchronizations are happening, all these reports are by default available. Say, for example, you have one report here, or if you have details about Zoho CRM and Zoho Reports integration, later on you can explore that how many reports are by default available and what you can do. So this is one example dashboard here. So dashboard is a kind of analytics in Zoho Report. So if you want to automate the emailing these particular dashboard on a certain interval to certain people, then you can click here email as HTML or PDF as attachment, right? So better to send it as HTML because it will show up the whole content in the email body itself. So it will be the HTML format. So here you can see and send that from which email ID it will be sent. So in drop down you will see the users which are configured here in Zoho Reports, and then email IDs where you want to send them, right? You can send to multiple end users by just selecting them and separating them by comma, right? Now you can schedule it when you want to send this automatically, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and at what time. Repeat, you want to set the repeat and everything, whatever a standard report scheduling option should have. So this way you can easily configure any email alerts to the concerned person of your analytics and reports. So this was one example. Here you can see that we are sending emails to 2 email IDs, and we have our configurations for daily email alerts for this particular dashboard to the emails for our teams, right? So this was, I think, was around reports and automations around Zoho CRM and Zoho Reports. Next, we can take up a few questionnaire if you have any. So guys, if you have any questions, we are ready to take up that questions. Please type in your questions.
Thanks, Narottam.
Yeah.
It was a great demo. So we have one question coming up from Thomas. Can you tell the difference between Zoho workflow and blueprint?
Yeah. So I have said. I have said already, the blueprint and workflow are both are for automations, automating certain actions on the basis of certain criteria. But blueprint is more about stages of your workflow. So whenever you are doing any, say for example, lead nurturing has got certain stages from the very beginning to the end. When you convert your lead to the potential, at every stage what you want to do, so that is the blueprint is basically stage based, and it is also at times it depends on your configuration, it is interactive with the users. It will ask certain input from the users. It will do various kinds of activities before and after the incident, in between the incidents as well. The triggers will be more or less around the stages in blueprint, but in workflows are bit standalone automation which will be executed on the basis of certain criteria.
Okay. We have another questions coming up from John. How many steps can be automated using blueprint?
Very good question. To know this particular exact answer, I think I should show uh, the pricing of CRM. Here, if you go to Zoho CRM pricing, then you will see that it depends on the particular plan you have taken. So here you can see in Blueprint transition. In professional, it will be 10 steps you can automate. But in free and standard, it is not available, and 100 steps will be available in enterprise edition. So it depends on the plan you are using. And for our plan, like for this demonstration, we used professional. Here we had shown you, I think, the maximum number of steps we had, 10 steps.
Thanks, Jonathan. Some of the people are asking, will you be sending the recording to them? Yes, we'll definitely be sending the recording of this webinar by email so that you can go through them at your own pace. So we have one question from Dinah. Can you include custom field in workflow?
Yeah, obviously we can include custom fields in workflow. If you go to the workflow configuration, then you can see that the custom fields which are created will be populated whenever you are selecting those things here. So here you can configure the custom fields. Obviously, in any way you can select the custom field. So first you create the custom field and note it, and then select it here in various conditions or any actions to update that particular custom field.
Thanks, Jonathan. So that's just from our end. Thank you very much for attending the webinar.
Thank you all.
So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach us at sales@appseconnect.com. So I'll just present the slide. So if any questions you have, you can reach us at sales@appseconnect.com, or you can reach us using the social media handles which are there. You can reach us using the LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. So thank you everyone for attending the webinar, and thank you, Narottam.
Shoumitro. Thank you all. See you very soon in another webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.